We all know about Doctor Who on the television. It's the main form of the franchise, with hundreds upon hundreds of episodes following our favourite Time Lord in their blue police box whizzing through time and space. But Doctor Who has also had a large presence in other formats, whether that be books, comics or video games. However, one of the most underappreciated forms of expanded Doctor Who content is the Minisode. Minisodes are, well, mini episodes, hence the name. They come in all shapes and sizes and started during the original run of the show, thanks to things like a fix with Sontarans and dimensions in time. So not the best start to the idea, but with the much beloved 2005 revival, the Minisode concept would be revisited and properly realised, with a staggering variety of sketches, prequels and short scenes, often serving as something extra for the fans to enjoy on box sets and home releases. A nice bonus for your support of the show. However, as the revived run of the show has ticked along, these Minisodes have become less and less frequent, to the point of completely disappearing. I think it's a huge shame, so let's take a trip through the Minisodes to see what makes them such a good addition to the show, and whether bringing them back could help fans engage more with the current era of the show. The main use of Minisodes in modern Doctor Who has been to add context to the episodes. This was very much the case with Series 2 of the revived run of the show. At the end of Series 1, David Tennant took over the role, with his first full episode being the 2005 Christmas special, The Christmas Invasion. But before that, for children in need, there was a short, specially shot minisode to bridge the gap between the parting of the ways and the Christmas Invasion, exploring the 10th Doctor's first moments after the regeneration. This minisode, titled Born Again, is a fantastic piece of bonus material that adds a lot of context to the Christmas special. It doesn't serve as necessary viewing, but it's a really good little short that explores both Tennant as the Doctor and Rose's reaction to the regeneration, accusing him of transmatting the Doctor away and replacing him, since he has changed his face. It's a good way of exploring the immediate aftermath of the Series 1 finale, as the 10th Doctor convinces Rose he's the same man in a great moment, before taking her home and setting the Christmas special into motion. If you don't watch this minisode, it doesn't detract from the special. If you do watch it, it serves as a fantastic bridge, adding some bonus context to it and satisfying the urge to get more of the brand new Doctor, seeing him properly for the first time. Also, it has Tennant in Eccleston's jacket, which is always a bonus because it looks so weird on him, giving the fans a proper go with that much beloved new Doctor in the old Doctor's clothes gimmick. Not only would Born Again serve as a nice piece of added context that you could easily skip over if you wanted to, so would the prequels of every Series 2 episode. These so-called Tardisodes were short, minute-long videos that were made to try and expand Doctor Who beyond television, since they were available on the Doctor Who website and on mobile phones via a subscription. Unfortunately, these were never properly released, so you can only experience them with the same fidelity as a deep-fried potato, but they all give you a good setup for every episode. For example, New Earth has a Tardisode serving as an advert for the hospital that serves as the main setting for the episode. Tooth and Claw's Tardisode explores the legend of the werewolf. The Satan Pit has a Tardisode showing more of the paranormal happenings around Sanctuary Base. For every episode of the series, there are these handy little prequels and short pieces that give you context to the episodes, establishing the world and setting up the stories. They're essentially extra cold opens unattached to the actual episodes, which means they serve as a really nice teaser for the episodes, which was the intention, as they were released a week before their respective episodes. Some of them even show events from the episodes that were alluded to, such as The Girl in the Fireplace showing the death of the crew, School Reunion showing Mickey investigating, and The Idiot's Lantern showing how the grandma lost her face to the wire. I think they're all really fun and interesting prequels, being only a minute long but adding something extra to the stories they're attached to, because they're all presented in unique ways. Unfortunately, since the mobile downloads of the Tardisodes were subscription based, they didn't perform very well, leading to the entire thing being canned and not reappearing for Series 3 the following year. However, the use of minisodes as prequels and contextual storytelling would return much later, in the Stephen Moffat era of the show, especially during Series 6. In 2011, Stephen Moffat's second series as showrunner began. This series would be accompanied by official prequel minisodes, returning to the Tardisode format abandoned in 2006, albeit slightly different. Rather than having prequels and tie-ins for every episode, Series 6 only had minisodes for 6 of the 13 episodes, with one of those, a prequel for Closing Time, being made exclusively for the box set release. These Series 6 prequels are definitely a mixed bag. They don't quite have the same quirk to them that the Series 2 Tardisodes had. For example, the prequel to The Curse of the Black Spot just has some narration over moody atmospheric shots. It doesn't really add anything to the episode and feels a bit wasteful. A better use for it would have been to show an actual crew member being taken by the mermaid, like how the Tardisodes served as mini cold opens for their respective episodes. However, the prequels for Let's Kill Hitler and The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe are really good bonus minisodes that add character-based context to the episode. Let's Kill Hitler's prequel sees the Doctor listening to a voicemail from Amy asking him to find her daughter, with him unable to bring himself to pick up the phone. It's a great way to show the aftermath of the mid-series finale, and how it's affecting both the Doctor and Amy. Similarly, the prequel for that year's Christmas special is a nice flip on this, with the Doctor phoning Amy to explain his plan, just to reveal that she's not even there anymore, showing his desperation for companionship and how he misses Amy and Rory. It's good contextual storytelling for the special, because it sets up where the Doctor is as a character, along with providing more of an explanation for the cold open of the special itself, which picks up directly after the prequel. For the first regular prequel minisode since 2006, the Series 6 minisodes don't really do a great job adding to the episodes, but they would more than make up for these minisodes with the plethora of minisodes for Series 7. Much like Series 6, Series 7 is split into two halves, but unlike Series 6, the minisodes come thick and fast, especially because the second half of Series 7 came during the 50th anniversary celebrations of the show, meaning we got the 7 minutes of perfection that is the Night of the Doctor, reuniting us with the magnificent Paul McGann, #McGannGang. The prequel minisodes of Series 7 itself are a lot better than the Series 6 counterparts. For example, there's the Pond Life minisode, which not only serves as a fun collection of shorts, it also sets up Asylum of the Daleks by showing the end of Amy and Rory's relationship, which is a central conflict of that episode. There's also a prequel for the same episode which shows the Doctor being told to go to Skaro, explaining why he's there at the beginning of the episode. Similarly, there are other prequels for the series, such as a prequel for A Town Called Mercy showing the creation of the Gunslinger. However, even though the prequels are better than the Series 6 prequels, it just feels like there's something missing in them. I think they could have done with the creative framing some of the Series 2 prequels had, such as the Fear Her prequel, which was framed as a trashy investigative TV show. The Series 7 prequels feel more like deleted scenes that never made the final cut, and maybe some of them were. The prequels that work well definitely work well, but the ones that don't feel a bit pointless. You can probably say the exact same thing about the Series 2 Tardisodes, but the Series 7 prequels lack the same kind of charm. However, it is undeniable that Series 7 was the best time for minisodes, because there were so many produced for online and exclusively for the box set release. Even though minisodes have primarily been used as prequels for episodes, they have also had a long history of just being there as fun extras for fans or charity specials. One of the best charity minisodes was the 2007 Time Crash, made for children in need. This short skit takes place after the Series 3 finale, and sees the 10th Doctor come across the 5th Doctor, with hijinks ensuing. This is just a really fun short, especially because David Tennant is really just gushing over his favourite Doctor, so it's fun and heartwarming, along with that Stephen Moffat flair of fanwank fun. It's not tied to any specific episode, and it mainly just exists as a nice little extra for fans. This style of minisode would be frequent, especially as charity specials. A significant one is the Space and Time short, which is similar to Time Crash in that it exists on its own for the enjoyment of fans, with all sorts of references and cheeky moments they probably wouldn't get away with in a normal episode. This approach is reflected in the box set only minisodes, like the Series 5 Meanwhile in the TARDIS minisodes and the Series 7 Clara in the TARDIS minisode. Both of these explore the new companion's relationship with their new lifestyle, with Amy getting used to the Doctor and Clara arguing with the TARDIS itself, with the time machine torturing her and refusing to let her sleep. They're fun little shorts that personify why minisodes work so well as extras for fans to discover and enjoy. It's good bonus content, and Series 7 was stacked full of these kinds of minisodes, but unfortunately this would be the last proper set of minisodes to this date. late, which is a huge shame and probably had further reaching consequences than we think. So what happened to the Minisodes? After Series 7 there was a sudden decline in Minisodes, to the extent that there were only 3 proper Minisodes across all 3 of Peter Capaldi's series as the Doctor, and none since Jodie Whittaker has occupied the role. In this online age with everyone using the internet and short productions easier to make than ever, it is incredibly surprising and quite disappointing to see such a drop off in Minisodes. Rather than the specially shot charity Minisodes, Doctor Who has started to just show episode previews at children in need, which is a far cry from Born Again and its fellow charity minisodes. So what happened? Well, the simple answer is, we don't really know. Since minisodes were always just a bit of an extra thing, they were under no obligation to actually make them, so it's possible that they simply decided to scale back on them to cut costs, similar to how Doctor Who Confidential was scrapped in favour of the smaller, less interesting Doctor Who Extra series, before that was canned in favour of pretty much nothing. As I mentioned before, it's easier than ever to make these kinds of things, especially with how short some of the past minisodes are. All of the Tardisodes clock in at 60 seconds, and the majority of other minisodes are around 2 or 3 minutes long. The current era of the show could really do with some of these harmless little minisodes to sink your teeth into, to reward fans for buying the box set or following the show. There's plenty of potential for Tardisode style prequels for series 11 and 12. How about getting one of Ryan's vlogs for The Woman Who Fell to Earth? A nameless security guard getting killed off by a Dreg for Orphan 55? Maybe people suffering nightmares as a prequel for Can You Hear Me? There are so many good, simple ideas for tie-ins for every episode, and it's a shame they haven't done anything for them, especially because you can produce it so easily. I'd much rather take some minisodes than the cast playing What's in the Box on YouTube. But despite this, there is a silver lining to all of it, and in the strangest of places. As we all know, 2020's pandemic led to a huge lockdown, where people stayed inside to help limit the spread of the disease. People were bored, they didn't know what to do, so Emily Cook of Doctor Who magazine started doing watch-alongs of select episodes, getting cast and crew to do tweet-alongs with new production info and interesting tidbits about the episodes. This picked up more and more traction, leading to all sorts of new short stories by writers such as Russell T Davies, Paul Cornell and Stephen Moffat. Eventually we were getting an influx of new material that brought the fans together and gave us new things to explore and discover, like the minisodes of old. It filled a huge gap that we hadn't really realised was there. Along with that, it showed just how easy it was to make simple minisodes, since there was an Angels Take Manhattan related short video of Rory recording a message for his son. Minisodes never had to be complicated to work, and that's what made them so special. So when we got these new short videos for the watch-alongs, it highlighted how much of a hole the minisodes left, and how easy they are to make. Sure, they're still a far cry from minisodes like Time Crash or Clara and the TARDIS, but they were something. A breath of fresh air in a time where it seems like Doctor Who is feeling more hollow by putting out less and less, so we can always hold out some level of hope that the success of these lockdown shorts might one day lead to a return of proper prequels, skits and charity specials. Additionally, there is also hope thanks to the specially shot trailers for the ongoing Doctor Who Collection box set releases, which have already shown continuations of the lives of companions such as Jo Grant and Ace, along with having the tongue-in-cheek nature of minisodes, thanks to trailers such as Season 14 and Season 23. Then there are the Time Fracture teaser adverts, which pose as unit research logs, giving us a creative insight into the world, like many of the minisodes used to do. Whilst none of these are actually minisodes, they're close enough to the format to prove that minisodes can be revived easily, which makes you wonder why they haven't yet. So to summarise, Doctor Who has always had a really strong presence on the silver screen, but this presence has always been aided greatly by additional content. It's great to pick up a book with a brand new adventure, but there is something innately special about watching a short minisode for the first time, getting to spend more time with these characters on screen, like an actual episode but free of the usual constraints. Minisodes can allow us to see the off time of the main characters, endearing us to them more and more, opening up the world of the show and setting up episodes with simple prequels. The Series 2 Tardisodes were a great experiment that I think turned out wonderfully, but their limited success led to a scuppering of the entire concept that I think the minisode format never really managed to recover from. It's a huge shame because having prequels and accompanying short minisodes for episodes would have been a brilliant thing to keep doing, giving fans more content to dive into and discover. The Series 6 box set tried to give fans some exclusive content with the Night and the Doctor series of minisodes, and I found them to be a pleasant joy when I came across them. 2013 saw a real return to form with minisodes and prequels as far as the eye could see, but they didn't capitalise on it, and they actually went the opposite way by stopping them entirely. Minisodes do a lot to add to the show, and I think the Capaldi and Whittaker eras have actually suffered a fair amount by not having them. Having minisodes return in the current era of the show could do a lot to help us see the friendship of the 13th Doctor and her companions, because the show has never really shown us them just having a good time, making you wonder why they even want to travel with her in the first place. So please, minisodes, come back, we're worried about you, and we miss you. And I'd like to give a special thank you to my gold level patron Steph McNevin Miller and my diamond level patron Mark Hippold Guy Taylor. Thank you a lot for your support.